I think we took the...
Hello, everybody.
You got to tell me when we start.
I hit the button. You were looking at the screen when I hit the button.
We have this little, like,
light
coming, but if I hold my hand up...
I think it's just because... Hold on.
Can you turn the camera off so they don't have to see our...
The wall? The roof?
And then pretty soon you're...
It's
oh,
black.
dear Lord. I'm sorry, everyone. I think it's just,
Sorry. Ooh, that's like the whole roof. There we go. That's better.
That's better. I was going to say, I think it's just because we were trying to get more light in here, and so we don't have the cover. So, but... Anyways.
Hello. If you're there, say hello in the chat.
There, say hello.
Well, usually people say hello, so I don't see anybody saying hello, so I'm a little worried. I do see people are watching, so go figure.
I tell you, so we switched our camera angle around a little bit. I think I like this
Hello,
because
Brian.
you can see like our designer Parkco bag down there now.
Hello, Monica.
That we couldn't see before. We could angle it slightly up so you can see the popcorn buckets, which were definitely cut off before.
Oh, sorry. This should be this.
Let's see. Yeah, look at that. And you can still see the designer Parkco bag. Very fun.
Hello, Megan. Hello, Jill. Pop it in.
And
Megan
yes, I'm a nerd and have not had the heart to take Elliot out of his plastic yet.
Yeah, what's up with that?
He can't. It's because how do I say this? If the person that got it, grabbed it, bought it for me, picked it up for me, if it wasn't in the plastic, I wouldn't have thought about it. But now I feel like, is it smarter for it to be in the plastic? Is it more right? Because, how many people have theirs in the plastic still?
Hi, Josh.
And I still love him, just as he is. But it looks a little weird. That's okay.
I don't know why you don't just take it out of the plastic. You're not going to sell it.
It's like the D23 promo Mickey card that you're like,
yes, but
it's a good card. Just play with it. I'm like, no,
but you're not going to sell it.
Maybe someday I will. Maybe in 50 years.
All right, everybody.
No,
July
21st. I said
7:32 p.m. with Central Time.
I said in 50 years maybe I'll sell it.
We'll see when this comes back to bite.
When I'm 80.
Hello, Josh.
I need more money to go on another Disney cruise. I'll sell him. Maybe he'll be worth a Disney cruise ticket at that point.
You said Disney cruise, and for some reason this triggered this. I watched a video yesterday on YouTube about what ended up being a little bit about DVC.
Oh.
And I thought that it was a fascinating take that I'm not sure that I necessarily think is the facts, maybe.
Okay.
But the theory of the what is it called when you put out an idea in science stuff, your
theory.
Not synopsis. There's an S word in there somewhere. Anyway, you put out your thing, what you think, there's a word and it's bothering me. But anyway,
it's not theory.
So you put it out there, and then you go test and or you do all this research to see if it's what hypothesis. Thank you, Megan.
Oh, okay. Hypothesis.
Thank you. Hypothesis. See, there's an S in there somewhere. Hypothesis. So the hypothesis is that Disney resorts.
Okay.
Not the parks, the hotels.
Okay.
How did he say it? This might be wrong, but I'm getting to the part that I more agree with, which is that they sell manufactured luxury. It's not actually luxurious, or something. And then he was talking about if you look at a hotel room in the Grand Floridian. So he has a picture from Disney of a room in the Grand Floridian.
Okay.
And then he put it next to a picture of a similar level room, 2 queen beds or whatever, in the All-Star Resort. And he's like, look at these 2 pictures. What is the difference? There's not that much of a difference. And he's like, so why are you paying $300 more for the Grand Floridian than you are for the whatever? Anyway, so that was one part of the thing. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting thought, but whatever. But then he brought in Review Time is the guy who
location
did it on
and
YouTube.
all
But then he brought in DVC, and so his hypothesis is that the reason that prices have gone up at Disney hotels is to sell DVC because DVC is
To
a
make-
better value,
If the
but they need to keep making more money with it, so they raise the hotel room rates. So you look at it and go, well, DVC is actually a better deal long term, so I'll do that. And they keep doing more, and they keep raising the prices. So they said, like, the Grand Californian and the Grand Floridian, and there was, like, one other of, like, their, like, premium resort, the Disneyland hotel in Paris, are all, like, $750 a night starting for, like, a standard room. And he said that and that's because, like, one of the things is that, like, those are things that are, like, in theme parks. Like, technically they're, like, on a border,
sure.
like, partially, and you're selling that part. But then he said, but the pricing really comes
But
down
not the
to...
Grand Floridian.
Right, but you're, like, close-ish.
Oh.
Apparently there's a
contemporary.
rumor that they're thinking about building a resort right outside of Adventureland in Magic Kingdom that will be, like, in the park. Kind of like that. This is the first I've heard of it, so I don't know if it's true.
We're going to D23
But
in a couple of weeks.
DVC, I was like, I could believe that they would do that, and that's fascinating to think of that. Like, they're trying to make the DVC a better value, because his other thing was, one of the reasons they started doing DVC was because you have off seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So especially like Disney World. So there are seasons where, like, you don't have full occupancy. But if somebody buys a DVC thing, that is guaranteed income that is
Sure.
consistent.
Yeah.
And so he's like, they want more of that and less of, like, fluctuation with, like, hotel rates and stuff. So I thought that was interesting.
Interesting.
Hello, Donna.
Can we angle the camera down ever so slightly?
Well, yeah. You were just talking about trying to get the thing.
No, I know.
In there. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, I felt like I was, like, down
I know.
here.
I felt that time like, oh, it's like.
Yeah. So anyway, not necessarily Disneyland related, because we don't have much DVC.
And this is just someone's idea and their thought
Highly-
process.
Yeah, but I thought it was an interesting hypothesis. Let's just say that.
There you go.
And the reason, because you were talking about funding a Disney Cruise Line, and that made me think of funding a DVC thing.
Yes. I still wish, from people that have DVC, I've asked, like, how, because the thing that almost sold me on DVC was that you could use your points towards cruises. I'm like, wait, can I cruise
But
for
they said that
less?
was a bad idea, right?
Yes, and then when we talk to weekly tiers that are DVC, they're like, can you? Yes. Should you? No, because it's like, it's not as good of a trade in
Sure.
value, I guess would be
Yeah.
a good way of saying it. So
I put the link in the chat to the video, so if you want to
For
watch that
anyone
after
curious.
the stream, it's kind of interesting. But he was talking about, like, the luxury thing, but then he was just kind of talking about how the hotels, like, came about. And, like, the first, like, 10 minutes of his 20-minute video is him just talking about the hotels. I'm like, when are you getting to the point of the title of your video? Like, that's why I clicked on this. And I'm, like, waiting for you to get to your point. So, anyway.
he did it smart. He left it towards the end, so you had to watch the full
I mean,
video.
that's what people do. Hello, Elisa.
But anyways, we're not talking about DVC today. We're talking about D23.
Too many D's.
We're talking about D23 because we are very fortunate and are able to go in a couple of weeks already, which is wild and crazy. We kind of talked about this with our supporters on our monthly Zoom chat. If you guys don't know, we do have one of the cast member and above level gets access to a really fun community Zoom chat that we do. It's always the same Sunday that we do our Patreon live streams, but it's really fun because then we get to see, everyone gets to see each other. And like one of the weekly tiers was showing off some of her Disney decor in her house today. We were talking about D23 Expo. We talked a lot about the Mouse Meet because a lot of weekly tiers had just gotten back from the Mouse Meet event, which was just yesterday. So anyways, it was very fun. But
It's always a lot of
D23.
fun.
D23. So, step 1 for D23, try and secure a ticket, which can be crazy difficult as it was again this year. But then step 2 is to impatiently wait until they release the schedule, which is always so exciting because there's always going to be it doesn't really matter what the schedule of events is going to be. There's going to be a million different choices with panels, as well as a ton of different experiences on the show floor, shopping, meet and greets, photo opportunities, signing, tons. You're not going to be bored if you ever go to a D23 Expo. And you also aren't, it's like physically impossible to do all of the things because that's how many things there are.
But take your time. Like, don't kill yourself trying to see everything because you're just not. Enjoy yourself.
I'm probably going to tell this story until
Forever.
until forever. The first D23 Expo, so this will be Tag and my third D23 Expo. The first one we went to, I will never forget this. We were there all day Friday, and it was about halfway through Saturday that we realized we had only seen half of what the show floor was. Like, we didn't even realize.
Why was that? Was it because we were in line for things?
I think all of our stuff, like the panels and everything, were just on the one side of the building. So we didn't realize that there was a whole other, like, half of the building that we hadn't explored yet. And then we suddenly had a panel that was on the opposite side of the show floor from where we had been the first day and a half. And we're like, there's more? We hadn't even seen all of this yet. I mean, yeah. So, it was wild. Just wild.
It is fun. The story that I will always remember, because our exchange student would not let us forget it when we came back and told him it was the $9 terrible hot dogs we had.
Lesson learned.
It might be better now, but don't take the chance. They usually, and I'm assuming it's going to be this year too, but we don't know yet. They usually have food trucks.
Yeah.
Go to the food trucks. The food
Always
trucks.
get the food
We
trucks.
didn't have anything we didn't like at the food
they were
trucks.
delicious.
Yeah, and they have lots of variety. Also, there are food trucks. So in the previous years, they've lined the food trucks up kind of like where you enter.
The main entrance.
Entrance. But there's also some on the other side, on the entrance that faces like California Adventure across the street. So that is also a place that you should look for food trucks because a lot of people don't know those are there. So you don't have to wait in line as long.
So the lines are even
shorter. I think we had good, tacos or something there, or gyros
there
or
is
something?
I don't remember what all we got. I think we got taco type things twice from two different food trucks, and we may have gotten some sort of like pita wrap thing. There's too many good choices was part of the problem with the food trucks because you couldn't eat all of the things, and there was probably a dozen?
Yeah.
At least.
And it all smelled wonderful.
But so we can kind of talk through how we attack pre-planning wise a D23 Expo. So the first thing we do is once the schedule has been released is we just look through it because again, there's a million. These are just the panels, a million. And we kind of filter down to figure out, okay, each of us each day need to pick like the top things that don't overlap with a bunch of other things. So you can find it on the website, kind of filter through it that way. Since there's two of us going, it's a little more tricky since there might be things that pique my interest that maybe aren't as interesting to Tag or vice versa. So we created a spreadsheet, which I think Tag's working on.
I'm trying to
getting that up for us in a second here.
Boom.
So this is just the event schedule that's currently on the D23 website.
Bring this to the full thing, so.
And then the millions, not millions, tons and tons of choices. And then this is a little bit different each year how they do this. The last expo, maybe the last two expos, they slowly released the schedule, whereas this year they released it all at once. So it was kind of overwhelming to all of a sudden see all this.
I like
and
this
then
a lot better,
look at all of the different like descriptions of what everything was kind of all at once, whereas before it was kind of slowly fed, so it wasn't as overwhelming.
I like this though because
I like this
the
too.
other way, I feel like you might like get excited about something and then later you're like, oh well, now what? Because now there's this other thing where that time between finding out that things conflict is a lot shorter now.
That's true.
And there's not like I don't like the anticipation. I just want give me all the info now. The fact that we had to wait so long to get the schedule to begin with was already a long time.
Which I'm sure is due to them having to finalize everything before they release it. And that's a lot, as you can see. That's a lot of stuff to have to finalize.
Yeah.
But then after we kind of sift through the schedule, we create our own spreadsheet. The spreadsheet has changed and evolved with the process. But basically, all of these things were one of three colors. It was either purple, the kind of peachy color, or it was a teal color. And that was basically what Teresa was interested, what Tay was interested, and then things that we were both interested in. And that's kind of how we color coded it there. There's a couple of things that you can now see. So, but the red now we went through and highlighted. The red is kind of the things that we're trying for. So like on Friday, we have two things that overlap in red. We're interested in both of them. So we'd be really happy to go to either of those panels. So when it came to putting our reservations in, we put we tried for both of those experiences and just hope that maybe we'll get
like
one
these?
of them. Yeah. Whereas other ones like the Muppets, for sure we did. Disneyland Foods yesterday tape, for sure we did. The afternoon's a little tricky because I super want to go to the Lorcana panel. Tag's not as interested in that one, so I put in for Lorcana for myself, and Tag put in for the Animation Alive in Disney Parks premiere stage. I do like this part in our spreadsheet because really and truly, if it were up to me, all of those things were Teresa's color because I wanted to go to all of them, but they happened all at the same time, making it impossible for me to see all of them. So I had to you got to get a little cutthroat and make decisions and stick with them.
Which is hard for you because you
It
always
is
want to do
hard.
everything.
It is hard, especially because like the live demo ink and paint happens twice during the entire weekend. Only twice. The Making a Goofy movie, that's the only time that there's anything Goofy movie related the entire weekend. Same thing with Lorcana. That is the only Lorcana panel the entire week, and there's some signings, and then Ravensburger will have a booth there, but that's the only presentation on Lorcana the entire weekend. So I was like, why are these? And then, of course, bringing the worlds of animation alive in Disney Parks. Who doesn't want to see that? Like, that's going to be incredible. So I do feel a little better because I think I saw that Making a Goofy movie thing is about a documentary that they have been putting together. So I don't feel as bad that I'm missing out on the panel because I'm assuming that documentary or that film will be I guess it's documentary will be coming to Disney Plus at some point. So
Sure.
I don't feel as bad there. There was a couple other ones that we had to get a little cutthroat with that were people presenting about a book that they had recently written. One was Bob Weiss is coming. I think the book's actually like going to be available. The first it's available is during the expo. It's releasing at the expo. But he's got a panel about his book, but it's happening the same time as this like Sherman Brothers thing.
Which we're already missing the other Sherman Brothers
Yeah.
thing because it's bleeds into the
Yeah.
experiences showcase at the Honda Center.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is just how we attack it. I'm sure everybody's got different ways of doing it, but this is how two people try and figure out. Because the other thing too is Tag and I don't want to be doing our own complete opposite things the entire weekend and just on our own. We want to go do and see these things together. Because the other thing too is if you've ever been to a D23 Expo, I would say it's not the easiest thing to like veer off from each other to then find each other to then veer off and
Yeah.
it's just huge. So and tons of people. But in the thing too is really and genuinely, they're all Disney related things. We're gonna be happy no matter what it is that we're doing and experiencing. These are just kind of our top picks.
I will say when we're talking about scheduling, this was one of the times that it is more apparent to me that like for me, I'm Disney Parks guy.
Oh yeah.
So like the stuff that has to do with not Disney Park stuff, like I don't really care. Like most of the stuff I
some
picked
of the stuff though, I was surprised because you had like Percy Jackson.
because I like the Percy
Yeah.
Jackson show. So I was like, well, I'll go see the cast of that. That could be really cool. But most of my stuff was like parks related, where you're more, I would say just in general, you're more
I
of like
like
a
all of the
Disney in general
I like
person,
all of the
where
things.
I'm more just like parks are where my jam is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, then there was a couple of panels that we were looking at that were like, well, it depends. Like right here, the Disney Legends in Conversation. There's so many different Disney legends that could possibly be the ones that are at this and talking about this. Who's it gonna be?
Did you read the description? I think these are
Oh,
the new
newest
people
class.
from the newest class.
So yep. So that was the other thing too. I was thinking probably new class, but
But
then
the
I was
question
like,
is, they haven't been inducted yet until
Right,
here.
right.
So does
So
that
it
mean
might
it's
be
last times?
oh, that's a good point. Either that, or I feel like that's a really nice way for them to, because right, everybody can't fit into the Honda Center
Yeah.
for the big panels. Unfortunately, everybody can't experience those. I think the Legends and Conversations panels a great thing for like to keep those that can't or aren't able to go to the Honda Center still kind of in the loop and being able to do it. Like it's like a taste of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So. What's some of the other things? No, you had the Inside Out 2 one on. You had more stuff.
But that's because we saw that one
no,
talk
I
with
know,
the
but
Inside Out lady.
you had some non-park stuff because I think you had the Zootopia thing too.
Right. But like I put the costuming and artistry behind the experiences where you on the first day were picking animation.
Mine was both.
Oh, did you have both?
Yeah, I had both.
The live demo ink and paint I think would be cool, but
so
not
cool.
like a show, like not something that like if I don't see it I'm gonna die.
No, I just think it'd be
Disneyland
cool.
Foods was the top priority for me.
We both had that one.
See, this Disney Parks thing was a big thing for me. The Disney World's Fair stuff was a big deal. I'm sad because I did kind of want to see Masquerade because when we talked to
Once Upon a Studio,
Michael Vargo, he was talking about how much he likes Masquerade. So I'm like, maybe I need to spend some time like actually watching the Masquerade.
The Masquerade's incredible
because I don't think I like
the creativity and level of commitment these fans have to their craft is just unbelievable. But the cool thing is since Masquerade's on Saturday, a lot of those folks will still be in their costumes throughout the day on the show floor. And that's the other thing that's really important too. You can't book yourself to just be panel. I mean, you could. We don't like to book ourselves to be just panel after panel after panel after panel. We like to give ourselves good gaps to be able to experience the show floor. Because first of all, there's a ton of cool things on the show floor. But second of all, you don't know who you may just happen to run into while you're on the show floor. Last time, we bumped into Kevin Rafferty. We saw Tony Baxter on the show floor. Friends of ours, other weekly tiers, saw Joe Rohde on the show floor. So, like, you never know.
We saw that gentleman that we thought was Wing Chow, and it ended up being not Wing Chow. And that was embarrassing.
There was some
part.
basketball person, like a basket. I'm not a sports fan, but there was some like basketball player that's a big.
Do they have VIP like plaids for D23?
I don't know.
Like if you're a famous person and want to
question.
go to D23, can you like hire a plaid to like take you around?
I don't know. Well, I feel like John Stamos would know.
Because our good friend John Stamos, so we could just ring right up and be like, John, tell us.
He would be the Disney fan that's also a very well-known person that would do that. So that's.
I'm wondering who we'll see because in previous years, we've done not this time. We're not doing a meetup at the Disneyland Hotel like we have before because we did it at Trader Sam's.
Tropical. No. Tongaroa Terrace.
Tongaroa Terrace. I'm like, there's too many names going on there. And then anyway, Tongaroa Terrace, because that's where we saw John Stamos. And we saw what's his name who played was the voice of Aladdin. We don't remember what his name was.
No.
But we've seen like famous people there because there's something I don't know. People want to say
they're probably because they're staying at the hotels and that's a close place to get delicious food from.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
If this is.
I don't know if anybody is going to the D23 Expo. If anybody is curious about perhaps
any
going
questions?
in the future, but yeah, does anybody have any questions of kind of the pre-Expo part of planning for D23 or just preparing for D23 in general?
I do have a question while we're waiting for questions. This is a little like behind the scenes for some stuff, but we have that interview tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I need to
from 7 to 9.
Calendar. No, I know that's not what I'm too worried about.
Oh, okay.
What I'm looking at is that'll be this week's, and then is this our predictions one that we're gonna do?
Perhaps depends on how much talking we do.
Okay.
No.
Oh,
Live.
predictions could be here too.
Yes. So it'll be. Spoiler alert for everyone that's listening to the podcast. The next two we have Casey Robin coming on, which she is an artist and does Disney stuff. Most recently, she has done some of the designs for Lorcana cards, And so anyway, so we're talking with her tomorrow. So yeah, she'll be this week and probably next week's podcast topics. And then yes, the 7th was the plan for our predictions because it's right before Expo.
Okay.
Which we'll have to record. I think we're recording on the 5th, so that
Okay.
we don't have to record and then get on a plane at early o'clock.
Yeah, that works. Okay. I was just trying to double
I
check
thought you were
when we
going
were
to
doing
ask
that.
me the other thing, which
Downstairs
yes.
thing? Yeah, what was the deal with that?
Elaborate for
Sorry.
what they're talking about.
So Teresa had posted in the chat already. I think you had posted the chat.
Yeah.
And then I saw it today, and I had not gotten anything. My family's visiting, and there's some other stuff going on. Like, there's a lot going on for me right now, so it's been hard.
Not your thing.
It's also not my thing.
Sit and do that.
But Teresa is making bracelets.
I'm very excited. So I decided this year there's a couple of things I was like, we need to be, I don't know, we need to be better. We need to be better about things. The first expo, I think we did well. We had like DL Weekly shirts that we wore every day, and we don't always do that. And so sometimes I think it's easier for if listeners spot us, that maybe it's an easier way for them to be like, I think that's, and they can see that that we're wearing
Right.
DL Weekly stuff and be like, yes, it is. But then it's also just a good way to get word out about the podcast. So I was designing some t-shirts.
What did you end up going with?
So you're going to get 2 of the first one. No. So she's redoing them so that the back's going to be smaller.
Okay.
I said, can the QR code for the back be about the size of like
This?
Yeah, that be the
But
size
smaller.
of the like podcast logo.
Okay.
So yeah, that but smaller because I'm like that. Nope, that's too much. You're gonna get 2 of that. What?
Nothing.
You're getting 2 of that style, which
Okay.
you can share these with them if you want. So here's the t-shirts that I
Hold,
was
please.
working with.
There we go.
Working on designing. So there's those. So there's the front and the back, and we're being snazzy. We've got a little QR code that if people scan, we'll take them to our website. If they're like, "Ooh, DL Weekly podcast, what's that?"
Okay, so what's...
And then that's not gonna be that's not the final design. The other design is gonna be, well, it's no. She hasn't sent me a final design yet.
Okay.
So it's that in
Okay.
essence, but the QR code
It's
is
smaller.
going to be significantly smaller so that it's like no bigger than a deck of cards on our back in the middle.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways,
I know it's too late for me to give feedback, and I said I didn't
I
care.
already asked you for feedback.
I would have gone with like this size on the back for like all of them, and then I would have done something different with the QR code somewhere else. But that's okay. It's gonna be great. We're wearing them for the expo.
Well, too late. I asked for your feedback and you said, looks
I didn't
great.
have time, and I was like, I know you're not gonna make us look stupid because you care more about that generally than I do, and
So anyways,
it's gonna be.
so I was working on that, and then the other thing that I
But
think
what's the bracelet
will
thing?
be, I'm getting there.
Okay.
The other thing that I think will be a fun thing to do is friendship bracelets. So I've been making friendship bracelets to hand out and trade, or what, I don't know. I've never done the friendship bracelet thing, like the trading and whatever. I'm just probably gonna
Just
give them
trading?
away. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to swap, like other people make them too, and then you trade, like you swap them.
This is like the fish extender where I'm like, I've never even heard of this before.
But yeah, you're supposed to trade and swap them. So I'm
Okay.
making DL Weekly friendship bracelets. So if you're going to be at the expo, come find us, and we can do either some trading or we can give you a friendship bracelet, however you want to
Sure.
do it.
But we're still bringing buttons and stuff to the
Yeah,
do
we'll
it.
sell
Yeah,
buttons
okay.
and stuff. So Brian, I
Yeah,
want to get into
Brian.
Lorcana. So this is my biggest thing, the tip for people that are curious and interested in Lorcana. Check out your local game stores, because a lot of local game stores have Lorcana League. Ravensburger and Disney were very, very intentional with this. They are trying to make the league as inviting and welcoming to all levels, including beginners, because I know that there's a lot of people, myself included, that are not like game player card people and got into this because it's Disney. And so like to get different, like it doesn't matter if you win or lose, to get points through your league is stuff like bringing a friend, teaching a friend how to play, like teaching someone how to play Lorcana. Sometimes they'll even do fun stuff like if you're wearing Disney clothes, you get like points and just stuff like that. And then they also have giveaways. So like at the end of each cycle, I think it's like every 4 weeks, they do prizes and stuff, which has like promo pins and promo cards and all sorts of stuff. So it's very, ours anyways, is very chill. And so I feel like all of them are that way. I have done some of the big tournaments that are for like super cool prizes. Those are a little intense. Those definitely bring out the competitive people, but I'd say League is probably more of the casual player. So I would say check with some of your local game stores to see if they offer Lorcana League and kind of dip your toes in that way. And then also buy the starter decks, because the starter decks are built to work really well. So then you don't even have to think, because that was the other thing too. I'm like, wait, I have to try and figure out how to
Build
like
a
I
deck.
have to build a deck with these cards. I don't know how to do that. So the starter decks were awesome because it allows you to play and kind of get comfortable and get to understand the game, and then you can get into the how to build your deck and all that kind of stuff.
As somebody who does not like, what's the word? Like, as somebody who doesn't like games that take too much thought and like sitting down and having to like know all of this information and just like, I just want to sit down and I just want to play. The few times I've played it, I've enjoyed myself. And I didn't think it was difficult. Like,
No.
Teresa did a good job explaining it. But, like, if you go to a league, like they'll help you learn it and stuff, too.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's not difficult. Like, it can be intimidating because people throw out terminology and stuff. And, like, there's so many different cards that it's like, well, which one's going to be their best one?
I mean, you got to get, like any game, you got to figure out
But
the
also,
mechanics.
it's also depends on your style.
Yeah.
Like, a card that I like and that works for me may not be one that Teresa likes and works for her, because she plays a different style than I do. So, any of those strategy games, that's the word I was looking for. Any of those strategy games where like you have to put too much brain power into it, I don't like any of those games. Producer James loves those types of games. So he likes really getting into and building like a super custom deck that like he's like, well, this card works really well with this. Like he gets really into it, where I'm just like, I don't know, this one seems kind of cool. It's in my deck. And when we've played, Teresa's won, I've won, James won. Like, we've all won playing our different, like, styles or whatever. So don't be intimidated by it. Just find somebody else who wants to play, get a couple starter decks or whatever, and see what happens.
Yeah. And I get that, Brian. Like, I felt that way, too, with going to my league, because it's a night that Vern typically has stuff going on, and, like, Vern was not as interested in it as I was. He's gone with me a few times. But the thing that was really fun is I've gotten to, like, it's the same players that go each week. So I've gotten to know people. So it's been nice. So I don't feel as awkward going, because now I feel like it's kind of like our league is like, it's like a little friend group now. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Are there people that are, like, super, like, how many people there are into this because Disney? Like, because they're just Disney fans?
I would say league is your more casual.
Okay.
Like, I'm here playing this game because I
That's
just
cool.
love Disney. Yeah.
And then what's like, because I've never really asked you that much about it, like what's like the age range? Like, do you have like
my age?
Oh, really? So there's not like little kids to like seniors?
Not at my local, not at that local league that I
Interesting.
go to, but like when the tournaments and like those things happen, there are younger players.
Oh.
So like I've played against kids that are in high school, kids that are maybe in middle school.
Did you
and
devastate
like
'em?
their parents are there. Sometimes they are. Some of them, like I played against this one kid who his family was really into Magic, which is a different
Oh, yeah.
card trading game. So they already had the understanding of how things work together, and they have the understanding of strategy, whereas other people, again, it's like kids that are super into Disney, and so they got really excited about the Disney card game. So it varies. Same thing with adults. There's some adults that
Are you saying they
like
kicked your
me.
butt?
I'm not the kid that I was just specifically talking about. There
You-
was a high
you beat him?
schooler that beat me,
Oh.
but no.
Oh,
the
so
one
you
that-
beat the kid that's family was into Magic?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
feeling pretty proud of myself. But yeah, it varies, because like this last tournament I was playing, one of the guys was like, I just started like playing, I just like learned how to play last month and I just really love it. And so he just was at the tournament because he enjoyed playing, whereas there's other people that were like very serious.
How often?
And
how
we're
often,
there for the prizes.
How often do you like switch your deck up, or
It
do you kind of
depends.
just have like a deck you're happy
No,
with?
I switch it around just because you, like you. If how do I say this? If you played against more than just James,
Yeah.
you see how people use other cards and how other things work, that then make you think more about your deck.
Oh, sure.
So that's what I really like about playing in the tournaments, because I'm not winning the tournaments, is at least just seeing like what people are doing and how they look and think at things. Like there's this
Sure.
one card that when I opened it and saw it, I'm like, well, that's pointless. It doesn't have any attack. Like its attack is 0. What is that going to do for me? Well, that was one of the most popular cards at the last tournament that I was in, because it doesn't have any attack, but when you kill that card, you instantly gain points. Like the person
that's a
who
good
had
deal.
it out gains points when it comes off their
Oh.
board. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of a good thing. I shouldn't have like stopped looking at that card when I'm like, it doesn't even, like if someone attacks it, it doesn't even damage the other person at all. That's not helpful.
See, I wonder about that too sometimes, because like when I'm looking through cards and I'm reading like descriptions, like there's been times, not with Lorcana necessarily, but like some other card games we played, where like I'll read it, and sometimes like I just don't understand what it's trying to do, and like I'll ask James, I'm like, what is the point of this card?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if this type of thing is happening, you could play it, and then it would do this, and then I look at it, and because like me, I'm not a strategy person, I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that, so that's not my card.
Yeah.
Like somebody who wants the strategy and wants to like get good and like use these things and like surprise people or whatever, those cards are for them. Like I'm very basic. Like I'm like, in any game I play, I'm always like, where's the attack card? How can I do so much damage? What can get me the most points quickly? Like those are the cards I am drawn to. But also, being a Disney fan, to some extent, well, because I'm more parks. I sometimes will pick a card because I either like the character or I like the design.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know it doesn't really help me, but
I
I
like this
get
card.
enjoyment out of looking at
There
it.
you go. There you go. You just never
What's
know.
your favorite card? Do you have a favorite card?
No, I do not have a favorite.
Do you have like
card. There's a lot.
a design of a specific card that you think is particularly cool?
I'll tell you this. My 2 favorite colors are the amethyst and emerald, which are the purple and green decks. I just
Ooh.
really like. I don't know what it is about those. There's a lot of. I think it's because there's a lot of villains in those decks, and I just really like the villains. Well,
See, I
there's
like the
villains in
purple
all
deck
the
too.
decks.
I like
but
the purple deck too.
the
But
purple
I like
deck's
purple.
got a lot of like magical characters in it as well, which is fun. So, anyways, there's our little chat on Lorcana that we got ourselves.
Yeah,
Got
we're
a
talking
little
about D23
sidetracked
and
on
somehow
that.
we got into
No,
Lorcana.
because I brought up Casey.
That's true. That's true. So that'll be exciting because like she was at Disneyana, right?
Yeah,
Where
we
we
met
saw
her
her.
at Disneyana.
And she had like a couple cards there that she had designed, and it was like, wow. Because the artwork on all these cards, like Brian, like you were saying, like,
you could like blow these up and frame them.
that's
They're
exactly
gorgeous.
right. Yeah, and they have. I really like the style of the artwork because they're all like a style. But I really like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Most
yeah, and
card
Madame
games
Mim's
have really
in
fun.
purple too, so that might also be why I like the purple.
Madame Mim.
I love Madame Mim.
See, now
so
I keep getting
much.
confused because we also play. What's the other card game? Where you're trying to get points? Is it the?
I have no idea.
It's like we've played it, where you're like where like Sorcerer Mickey gets broomsticks and stuff. Like that's not Lorcana. That was something else.
Broomsticks.
What's the
Card
villain? No,
Oh, villainous?
No, it's not villainous. Maybe it is Lorcana, and I just haven't played long enough. Anyway, there was some game where I was always it had to be a different game because I was always Sorcerer Mickey, because like I would gain power by getting broomsticks, and then I could spend broomsticks to buy cards or something.
I don't know what you were talking
We've
about.
played this before though, because you were Madame
there's a
Mim, and you were
lot of-
and you were like, oh, I'm gonna have this Mim out, and then like you turn. Maybe it was Lorcana. I don't know. Now I'm all confused.
I don't remember. I don't remember either.
Anyway, D23. Anybody have any other questions about D23?
Or anything therein
Ooh,
related.
we should promo the meetup while we're waiting for questions.
Oh, yeah. So if you're going to D23, if you're going to be or if you're just going to be in the area for the weekend, we're having a meetup, and we're actually going to have a meetup outside of the Disneyland Resort property, which I think this is a first. And
It is
it's
true,
going to be it's called the Lazy Dog Restaurant. It's in Orange, California. And this is going to be super fun. It's going to be real chill Sunday night. We're going to get over there after the Legend ceremony wraps up. The official start time is 7 p.m. We will likely be there closer to probably like 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending on how long that panel goes over and how long it takes to get over to the Lazy Dog Restaurant. It is within walking distance of the Honda Center.
Yep.
But if you're driving, they do also have free parking. But the super, super duper cool thing about this is this was organized by a fellow weekly tier, and it's also coinciding. It's a double meetup. Terry Hardin, Imagineer Terry Hardin, who has been on the show, is also going to be there, and her crew, Terry's tribe, is having a meetup as well, which there's a lot of tribe members that are DL Weekly fans and listeners and vice versa. So it'll be really fun. It'll be really, really fun.
So you can come, pretend you're there to see us, but really just see Terry Hardin.
Yeah, because she's awesome. She's
we'll
super awesome.
Pins and maybe some
buttons.
Friendship buttons, maybe some friendship bracelets. Who knows what's going on with
you're going to have to help me start making them if we're
Oh, goodness. But also, like, Terry Hardin, she's great. Like, you'll get an opportunity to see how wonderful she is in person and meet some people from her tribe, which is always really cool, too.
Some of her tribe members are also, like,
yes,
Disney, like, super cool Disney people. Like, yeah.
Are we going to try to make it over to the company
Of
D
course
store?
we are.
Okay.
Of course we are.
We just have to figure out what day
Figure
we're
out
going to try
when.
to do that.
When, where, why, and how.
Because it starts before we go, isn't it?
I don't remember.
I don't know where I sent that to you in the chat. Anyway.
But yeah, we can try getting over there too. It's going to be a super fun-filled... This is going to be just a super fun-filled trip. We've been very fortunate that most of our trips have aligned well so that we get to do multiple cool things at once, and it's not just like one cool thing per trip. We're really good at like layering all the different stuff. So last time the reasoning was to go to Pride Night, and then it just so happened that Bob Gurr had a Waltland tour happening or scheduled for when we were going to be out there. So we, of course, had to jump on that experience, which was incredible. Are there any Marvel panels for D23? That's a great question. I don't remember.
I think that's going to be mostly part of the entertainment presentation at the Honda Center because they've kind of combined all of that stuff into one.
You're right. There used to be one big...
That was just Marvel.
Yeah, there used to be just one big Marvel
Yeah, because they had a Disney Plus one, they had a Star Wars one, they had a Marvel one, like throughout the time. But I think they've put all those into the entertainment. Live action. That would be interesting to see the trailer for that, too.
That's true. I bet you they will.
I need to go see Daredevil and Wolverine that's coming out soon because I'm really excited for that. I want to see that before we go. I think it either came out or is coming out. Let me look. Deadpool. Sorry, Deadpool.
What did you say? Oh, Daredevil.
I do that all the time for some reason.
They're very different super.
It's out next weekend. Look at Brian.
Brian's on it.
Figuring it out for us.
He's on it.
I'm very excited for this. Very excited. July 26th. So about a week. So.
If you're in New York City, it's tomorrow. It's interesting. I wonder if it's the premiere.
Something. But I'm very excited for that. Also, I know I have to try to go with James to see the Despicable Me 4 because he loves the Despicable Me franchise. So, yeah, Wolverine.
It's come out of retirement.
Yeah, like that's going to be really cool.
That's a big deal. That's a real big deal.
I'm wondering if they're going to start doing more X-Men because they kind of started bringing that stuff in. I don't know. I feel like Marvel has kind of they've kind of slowed. Like, they did the same thing with Star Wars. Like, I feel like they put out a ton, and then they were like, okay, this is too much. And now they've kind of slowed their roll, which I think is good.
Well, and they were focusing on the more, like, unique stuff that they were bringing to Disney Plus, too. Like, Loki and what was the series with Arrow? Not Arrow. With
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Literally
it was just
called
called Hawkeye, yeah. Yeah, because they had a lot of Disney Plus stuff.
Ooh, the Mutant Saga. Well,
There we
that could be really
go.
cool.
There we go.
Have you seen trailers for the? Oh, they break the fourth wall in one of the trailers.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
And
'Cause
he's talking. You've seen the first one, right?
Great at breaking the fourth wall. Yes.
You've seen the. Okay, so the old lady.
Yes.
Who's plot? So she's talking to Deadpool about smoking crack or something, and he's like, "That was the one thing Feige said we couldn't do." And then she starts saying all like the little code names, like jokingly, like
whatever. But yeah.
Santa's snowstorm or whatever. And he's like, he's like, Feige knows all of these. Disney will not let us do this. I was just like, I love that they are aware of themselves. I don't know. I just love breaking fourth wall things, especially when it's like a comedy.
Sure.
And Ryan Reynolds is like a national treasure. I love him. But I hope that bringing the X-Men in will do some cool stuff with.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
With Marvel. And Star Wars, did you guys finish Acolyte yet?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty good. We ended up not watching it until yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it was good.
But,
it left me hanging, though. I wanted more. Like, well, now,
That's good,
but
right?
now what? Yeah.
Well, I was watching
feel
a
with a lot
Star
of
Wars
those.
Explained recap
No
video.
spoilers. Don't worry.
No spoilers.
Brian.
I watched the Star Wars Explained thing, and they're like, they have not renewed it for another season yet. But they didn't do that for... he said they didn't do that for some other Star Wars... Oh,
Well,
for Ahsoka until
could
4 months later.
Yeah, I could see that because it's like, well, this is something different. Are the fans going to like this or are the fans not going to like it?
Without spoilers.
No.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Yeah. I did. I'm still curious, about the whole thing.
Yeah.
It did. It left me wanting more.
Well, see, Brian,
I enjoyed
love...
Ahsoka. I
What's
felt
his
like
name?
Ahsoka, it was a little too slow of a burn. I wanted a little bit,
Yeah.
I wanted to move a little quicker.
I felt like... what was the other... Andor was a
Andor.
real slow burn.
Yeah.
But was good.
But it was a good slow burn.
And when is that second
I don't
season
know.
going to come out?
Vern, I want more and need them to renew. Yes. But,
Yeah.
Vern was asking the same
Oh,
thing
sure.
today with Andor. He's like, when is season 2 coming out? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out at D23.
Ahsoka, I'm a huge Thrawn fan. So he started getting kind of cool at the end of Ahsoka. And so I'm really excited because the next one I think is going to be pretty awesome. I wish they would have done a Thrawn series. I think it'd be amazing for them to do a series from the point of view of what we consider a villain.
Sure.
I think that'd be an interesting take. But I also liked with Acolyte that they got out of the Skywalker saga of Star Wars, that they went to a different time because we
Was it
have
100
done it to death.
years
Yes,
before?
it has been done to death. We can pick a different part of the universe timeline. So
It's pretty wild.
but you're not you watch Star Wars, but you're not a huge.
It's making you question everything, Lee. I think that's the thing of it.
Brian, if you ever watch it, and anybody who has watched it, go watch Star Wars Explained on YouTube's season recap. Because
once you've watched it.
Yeah, once you've watched it. Because he talks about a lot of stuff that's just really cool. And we've had him on the podcast before Galaxy's Edge opened.
Oh gosh, that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
He has some really good he is so well versed in the Star Wars universe that he can point out stuff that I'm not even aware of. He'll be like, they talked about it in so and so book, and then it's kind of nice to see that on the screen, or this is going to interact with that. And I'm like, I would not have known this as a casual watcher of Star Wars, and I just don't have the time to read
But
and
I
do all
think
the
that's
stuff.
what's really cool about Star Wars is there's something for the casual watcher, and then there's something
yeah.
for the ones that are deep into the universe. Because I forget that there's books.
Yeah.
And stuff outside of just the movies and the TV
And the
shows.
books are
and then the
really
fact that
good.
the animated TV shows I had completely written off and thought that they were just for kids. Oh no. No, they are not. I was like, wow.
No, the animated
very
shows are actually
expansive
some of the best
universe.
Star Wars. Like Clone Wars was very good.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it does, Lee. I totally agree.
Helps. It's nice when someone else has like done all of the research and all that, and you get to just like soak it all in from them, like putting all this stuff together. Because that takes a lot of time and dedication and knowledge to be able to connect all the different dots and all the different things.
I try to understand because one of the things that he's good at is like he will stay up and he will watch it the second it goes live.
Yeah.
And he'll just watch it for himself, and then he watches it a second time where he takes notes.
Yeah.
And then he makes a video and it's out like that day. And I know how hard it is for us to get a podcast, which is just audio, out.
Mm-hmm.
But he does like video, and he gets like screenshots from parts of the
Yeah.
episode and all this stuff, and he references all these books. He has probably forgotten more about Star Wars than I will know about Star Wars ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, and then there's comics. I forgot that there were also, like, books and then comics. Dear Lord.
Oh, yeah, the comics are good, too.
So many layers. And the fact that people, like, again, people like Alex can take all of these different, like, mediums in and take all that information in and be able to connect all the different things. And that just also is another credit to the people writing and creating all
Yep.
these things to make sure that everything, like, lines up.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that like is mentioned. Like Vern gets all excited about he doesn't even read the books or the comics, and he gets all excited when things pop up that he had seen, in some TV series or whatever. And I just think that's cool that they layer these things in, even if it's just stuff like creatures.
Yeah. Are you saying do they sell exclusive Loungefly?
They do have show. They do. Oh. I think so. I don't know if it's show exclusive. They for sure do like releases of exclusive Loungeflies at the convention. Because they do have a booth and they have a giant section of the show floor for their space.
So, yes, Teresa and I have this moment a lot, in the parks and at the expo.
Expo's hard because it's there for a short amount of time, so you gotta like
and
make that decision.
There's only so much. Like I will tell anybody who goes to the expo, at least from our past experience, if you see something you want and it's like, let's say it's a shirt or something and it's in your size, you just get it then.
Yeah.
Because if you wait, there is a possibility it will be gone. So if your heart is set on something and like it's a must-have for you, buy it when you see it because there's no guarantee it'll be there later.
Oh, well, not even that. Just what's the guarantee of having time to go back to the store?
I mean, that too.
That's the other hard thing too.
Yep.
Because a lot of these stores, especially like the super popular ones that are like could be once in a lifetime experiences for some people because they've got like Mickey's of Glendale is the example I always use. That is the store that is on the Imagineering campus. So, and they have a booth for D23 Expo that you can buy stuff from, that store, which who's getting on to the who gets on the Imagineering campus? So that, like, for some people, they'll never be able to go to the physical location, but D23 brings the store to you, so you can still shop and get all the Mickey's of Glendale exclusive merchandise. But because it's such a, like, big deal, there's virtual queues and there's physical, like, standby queues that are... I'm trying to think how long we waited last time. We even had like a return time, and we still probably waited like 30 to 45 minutes to get into the store.
Yeah.
So take your time when you get in the stores too. Don't just rush through and think you can, I'll just come back later. No,
Yeah.
like that's not always possible.
Ryan, one thing that might help you in this case is you can always use Disney gift
Ryan.
cards. So what I would do is load money onto a Disney gift card.
Not okay. Before you go down that road, not all
Why?
places take the Disney gift cards.
Sure. But I'm just saying, like, or get a prepaid Visa card or something that has a limit on it that you can set and be like, this is the budget I'm going to spend.
Call your credit card company and say, yes, hi, can you please lower my daily credit card limit?
I mean, like, go buy one of those things from, like, Walmart you pay, like, $4 for, and then you load a certain amount on, and then that's it. If you're that worried about it.
I work in the financial industry, and those are a big pain in the butt. So I would take cash. No, don't take cash either. I lied. A lot of the booths are cashless. They have talked about that.
So I'm telling you.
We'll just have to have a wallet wellness check with everyone. We'll
Sure.
try and keep each other in check. He has to literally watch me because when I'm in the parks, he's like, "We're here for 3 days." Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Okay, so
Danny is like James. Like, I want to buy everything. Although I will say lately I've been better. I've been
You've
better
gotten
lately.
better.
Yeah. I try
the
to buy a
last
couple
2
pins.
trips you've gotten a little more shop happy than you had been in the past. So I think I think you're going in like waves.
If there's something good, I buy it now because I've made the mistake of we got a little bit of a raise at work, and my brain went to like, no limits, but like we have limits.
Do you want to know what? I don't think you even realized this.
What?
Last trip, nothing. I bought nothing. So proud of myself. I usually end up with a pin or something.
Why didn't you buy anything?
We were there for a week. I don't know. Nothing was speaking to me. I somehow
Fern bought stuff.
got out with nothing. I don't know how that happened. There was no ears that like were a must buy. It was wild. You're thinking back on it. You're trying to figure out what it was I bought. Pin trading. I pin traded, but I didn't purchase anything. Isn't that wild? Good job, Teresa.
Are you sure?
Pat myself on the back. Yeah. All of my purchases were food.
Vern bought stuff though.
Yeah, he bought
Vern
the
bought
magnet.
the shirt. Didn't he buy like that shirt? He bought the shirt.
What shirt?
Oh
yeah, he bought a button-up shirt.
Yeah.
He bought a button-up shirt, and he bought a magnet.
A pin.
I don't think he ended up buying. He was looking for a
Did
pin.
you give him the pin
Yeah.
I gave you? Okay.
Yeah, I was so proud of myself. Okay, let's see.
Should be cool.
Oh, Dumbo items, yes.
Well, the other thing too, Lee, is like what's happened to me is I had a
Disney.
lot of stuff, and I had like in my office at home, I have shelves, bigger shelves than this.
Tag also has shelves worth of his stuff over here.
Yeah, but
That's
what
off
happened
camera.
was I realized that it was starting to get full, and then I'd look at the stuff, and I'm like, okay. So then when I would be in the park, I'm like, I started just being honest with myself. I'm like, all it's gonna do is sit on that shelf.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to do that because it's literally just gonna sit there.
You got pins are kind of now your new thing
But
again.
pins have always been my thing.
Your new thing again because you have yours. They're displayed now more prominently.
Yeah. It's gonna maybe. I'm hoping, Brian, that they do more stuff with the Vision Pro. So we'll see what happens. Plus,
One can hope.
to go back to Ryan and flying home, if you get pins fit easy in the suitcase. You can buy a ton of them.
So Brian, we do it different ways. Tag uses cork boards.
Sort of. I'll explain what I do.
Okay.
You explain what you
And
do.
then I actually took a piece of canvas and made a fabric canvas and made a hanging thing. So I poke my pins into that because then I was able to say what what size was that I wanted and all that. Oh yeah, no, that's still corkboard though. But
This. Yeah.
and so anyways, so maybe I'll have to take a picture and post it somewhere. But it's so I made my own display and hang it that way so then I can kind of put my pins where I want them. I did have corkboard and then I found myself getting annoyed with not having anything you don't use the backs. So I just had a bunch of backs that I needed to pay attention to because you can't throw them away. Obviously.
Oh, I threw a ton of my backs
Oh
away.
no, I wouldn't throw them away because what if I wanted to do something different with them that I don't have a pin back for?
Oh, I don't worry about it. So here's the browser quick.
And then I also got annoyed with holes if I decided to shift things and then I had the holes.
Oh, sure. So I bought these things. I don't think this is exactly what I bought, but this
Those are
is similar.
felt.
But they're cork, but they're covered in a felt thing.
Oh.
And so they have a nice design on them. And then what I did was instead of doing them this graphic shows where all they're together, I staggered them. and then I started categorizing my pins where one square is like my like Disneyland ones. One square is like my special events. So I had like Oogie Boogie Bash pins, and I had a pin from way back when Pirates of the Caribbean premiered at Disneyland. So I have that on there. Those type of game, Pride Night, those kind of things there. I have one from like when I went to Universal, so I have all my Universal pins like on one. I have one.
We bought a lot of pins.
I have
when
an
we went to
aspirational
Universal.
one that James is not happy with.
That
is
Aspirational?
an entire cube. That is Disney Cruise Line. And I told him, I said, James, the idea is I want pins from all of the different cruise ships, because I bought a pin that had all the cruise ship names, and I said, I want the pins to be in the quadrant that the name is. And James is like, yeah, okay.
Poor James.
Good luck with that.
This is the worst possible thing happened when Tag and James took their first Disney cruise. Tag fell in love with it, and James was like,
He liked it too, but still didn't think it was worth the premium.
He's like, he wasn't sold. We'll put it that way. He wasn't sold on the Disney cruise, whereas you're like, yes, love it. So yeah, I was thinking you'd both be on. When I was like trying to hypothesize or like figure out what I thought was going to happen when I was trying to predict the future of what was going to happen, I figured never did I consider that you would both like it would be opposite. I figured, you're either the two of you will like it or not see like it and be sold and be bitten by the bug, or will not be like won't think it's worthwhile. So I never did I consider two different opinions. Poor you guys.
That's okay. Lee, here is the pin. And actually, I didn't get it for me. James got it for him. Because I was kind of like, I didn't like the little dangly thing down here. I wanted something a little different.
I've realized I'm not a spinner pin person.
I mean, it's hard when you display them.
Yeah.
I would have gone for something
you know
like
what it
this.
is? It's another choice.
I would have done this.
Yeah, I like that.
But this year's pin was like this.
Yeah.
So.
There are some weird pins I noticed that they also had, like, if you liked that, you might like these pins.
One of these days, I don't have time for this, but one of these days, I need to go on one of those pin sites that you can create an account and, like, log all your pins into a database. Because it would take me probably an afternoon just to do it. But it'd be cool because then I could, like, I could look, like, if we're talking like this, I could just look it up quick and show it.
Sure.
I also think I have some pins that I don't know where they are. Like, they're like when I was moving them from the corkboard to the other, I'm like, I remember that I had, this other type of pin, but I have no idea where it is. So I think there might be like a box somewhere that I like have some in.
Perhaps.
So, we'll see.
Mystery
it is 8:32.
Mystery hidden pins somewhere. But yeah. Anyways, thank you everyone for hanging out with us, even though we kind of went all over the place with our hangout this evening. Hopefully it was entertaining and interesting to you all. But yeah, we had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So keep an eye out. We'll have the our predictions episode coming out right before D23, and we'll see how right or wrong we are. I might try to do like another podcast I listen to where we make it into like a game and we like score it afterwards, like how well did we end up doing, and then like they do this fun thing. I kind of think it's fun. They do a scoring thing, and then like until the next expo, whoever wins gets like a title with it. And then you're like if you win, then you're defending your title the next time there's an expo.
See, this is gonna be hard because I'm trying to go into this with no expectations because of the last couple of blue skying.
Right, but we can talk about stuff that's not just parks. Like we can also predict like, are they going to announce like a new Disney Plus show or something? Like you can make choices like that as well. You got a couple weeks to think about it though. There was a YouTube video that somebody made about their predictions, and I purposely did not watch it because I don't want to be influenced by others.
There you go.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
And we'll see you later.